All right, so you're writing a paper. You know your references are everything, right? They're the foundation. But what happens when that foundation is, well, a little creaky, a little dated? Today, we're going to look at a super fast way to bring your sources up to speed and really make your work shine.
So let me just ask you this, straight up. Is your paper kind of stuck in the past? Hey, it happens to the best of us, you know? You build your research on all this solid, classic work, but the world keeps spinning and the conversation in your field moves on. So the big question is, how do you make sure your paper is part of what's happening right now?
Okay, just look at this. We've got references from 85, 97, the early 2000s. Now look, these might be absolute classic seminal papers, no doubt, but when your bibliography looks like a throwback playlist, it can, raise a few eyebrows. This right here is the before shot, and I bet it looks pretty familiar to a lot of you.
But why is this even a big deal? I mean, a good paper is a good paper, right? Well, let's dig into why leaning too much on those older references can actually torpedo your chances of getting published. And believe me, it's about way more than just the date.
Here's the bottom line. When you rely on old sources, it sends a message. It basically tells your reader, hey, I'm not really up on the latest stuff. It can make your whole paper feel, well, out of touch, like you've missed the last 10 or 20 years of conversation. And it's not just about how it looks. You could be missing out on game-changing new methods or key counterarguments that could make your own work so much stronger. And that brings us to the really scary part. Let's face it, who holds the keys to the kingdom of academic publishing? The reviewers. And the source for this explainer puts it pretty bluntly. Reviewers won't like that. That's it. 4 little words, but man, do they pack a punch. That's a one-way ticket to getting that email you absolutely dread, major revisions required, or worse, just a flat-out rejection.
Okay, but don't panic. This is not a dead end. There is a fantastic and seriously fast way to fix this. Let's dive into a super simple, modern solution that will help you find all the newer, super relevant work you need for your paper.
It's basically a 4-step trick. Step 1, you just upload your paper to a tool like ResearchRabbit. Litmaps is another great one, by the way. Step 2, you set a time filter. So for example, you could say, show me everything published after 2015. Step 3, you hit search and let the magic happen. The tool's algorithm will go out and find papers that are really similar to your older sources, but, you guessed it, much, much newer. And now for the most important part, step 4, this is where you come in. Use your expert judgment. This isn't just about swapping an old date for a new one. This is your chance to really see how the field has moved forward. You might find new angles that could totally change your paper for the better.
And boom, here's the result. Check it out. On the left, you've got the before, citing stuff from the 80s and early 2000s, and on the right, the after. The main point is still there, but now it's backed up by super recent work from 2019, 2021, and 2022. Instantly, the whole thing just feels more current, more solid, more relevant. What a transformation, right?
But hold on a second. This doesn't mean you should just delete every single old reference you have. No, that's not the goal at all. The real art here, the real skill, is finding that perfect balance between the classic, foundational stuff and what's happening right now. And this is a really important point. The new references, they're like a signal flare. They show everyone that you're plugged in, that you know what's going on in the field today, that you've done your homework. But those older, foundational papers, they're your anchor. They ground your work in a specific tradition. They give crucial context, and honestly, they just make your paper a whole lot easier for people to read and understand. Which all leads to this final, crucial takeaway. This isn't a fight between old versus new. The source puts it perfectly. The most successful papers balance both. It's about standing on the shoulders of giants, for sure, but also having a lively conversation with your peers today. So I'll leave you with this question to think about. Does your paper have that winning balance?